by ID. Now, actually, we have another option is we have a query selector. Query selector. We can use query selector. Query selector advantage is this query selector can access by ID or by class name, or by using the name. So it can access by using all the techniques. That means actually it uses CSS selectors. By using CSS selectors, you can access. That is query selector. That means generally you will see people using another option, that is, for example, you can access query selector. So query selector is nothing but, suppose, how to access the query selector. See, query selector is nothing but document dot query selector. We have query selector. This query selector can access by using selector technique. It can access by using selector technique. So selector technique is nothing but, selector technique concept is nothing but, usually, suppose if you are referring an ID, you can access that ID like this. So how to refer IDs? IDs are referred by using hash pick. This indicates you are referring by ID. And a dot, I can use src. And here I can put assets, some speaker.jpg like this. And this query selector can use your ID selector, class selector, type selectors. It can use the technique. Now you see, it's working fine. Suppose it should refer by using an ID. It should refer by using an ID. You know it. So by using class, suppose we have a class. So we have a class called IMG. So header like this. That is class. Now you want to access by using the class. Then what you can do is, how to access the class, you know that. Classes are referred by using dot. And I can use IMG. So by using dot, I can refer that IMG. And I can access IMG hyphen header. This is class selector. Already in CSS, we learned about selectors. So that means it is referring by using that. So the class selector. Now by using the class, we can access that and use it. That's working fine. You can access, for example, I'm accessing IMG, and here I am defining some shoe.jpg. That means I can access by its tag name also. You can access by tag name. Because you know that you have type selector, ID selector, class selector. This is more convenient. So sometimes you have ID problems. Sometimes you have name problems. Sometimes you have class problems. Then you can go with this. Query selector, it can use all the CSS selectors and access your element. It can access your element. That is the advantage of query selector. So if you are referring to type, just use the type. What is advantage is it can access all the elements of that type. It can access all the elements that are using that particular class. So easy to apply effects to multiple if I can use a query selector. So query selector can refer by ID, by name, or by tag name. So by class name, it can use universally. In the query selector, you have to mention them. IDs are referred with hash, classes are referred with the dot, tags directly referred by the name. We can manage that. This is the general approach of query selector. So you can use query selector for every type of reference. Now we also have individually get elements by tag name. We also have get elements by class name. Separately we can access. We can use get elements by name. We can separately use this. Instead of using them, we can use one query selector for all of them. Query selector can work for tag name, class name, and name. But what is difference between query selector is query selector returns that element. But this query selector will return that element. But this will return all elements that are having that tag name. And it stores in a collection. From the collection, again, you have to access them and use them. That I will tell you. Once we learn about arrays concept, we will discuss. As of now, for example, you see, suppose I want to know how many divs are present inside this page. How many divs are present inside the page? See what I am doing. Count I am declaring is equal to document dot get elements by tag name, and I can use that tag name. Tag name is div. That means now what it will do is it will return how many elements are with the tag name div. How many divs are present in your page? It will return them. Actually, this is a collection. Now, what I am doing is, in this collection, I am just displaying temporarily alert. I will put a message total. Don't worry what is alert, I will tell you. So temporarily observe the concept. Total number of divs. I am writing like this. Total number of divs. How many are there? I can get it by using count.length. So length will return the total number of elements present. You see, it returns total number of divs are 3. That means it will get that count. Not only count, we can get all those elements and work with them. That I will tell you later in JavaScript when we start working about variables, data types and all, we will learn. As of now, get elements by tag name. You can access the tag name. Suppose if I write img, that means how many image elements are there. So total number of images. And you can see it will show 1. You can access that by using and we can return it. Not only that, not only get elements by tag name, you can access elements by class name. That means I want to know how many elements are using this img class. So 0. There are 0 elements using img class. There is no image using that class. I want to know how many elements are using the class name img header. And currently 1 element is using that. It will return that 1. Suppose I want to know how many elements are using text danger class. In Bootstrap, we have learned that. Or I want to know how many are using text primary, text success, or BG primary, BG success. You can access them by class name also. You can access by class name you can access by tag name, and you can access by name also. Name. That means how many elements are there by name. Pick, I want to know, or by name, txt name. Then you can use get elements by name. Get elements by name also you can use. And here I am writing name is some txt name. And it says that, so we have one, it will display it. So that is individually we can manage them. Individually we can access by tag name, by class name, and by name. These are the options we can define. So generally when you are dealing with and working with the JavaScript reference techniques, it depends on the situation and the requirement. That means you want to use the ID or name or DOM hierarchy and the query selector, tag name, class name, names. These are all the various methods. So many reference techniques are present. JavaScript can use any of them depending on situation. And JavaScript can use all of them in one example itself. That's your requirement. There is nothing like which is best. Right? So it depends on the situation and requirement completely. Which one we have to use, we need to know about that. So these are the various reference techniques. All these examples I will upload into the classroom. So various techniques. Already in the classroom, I uploaded a document, Introduction to JavaScript. I hope you have seen that, right? In the classroom, I uploaded the Introduction to JavaScript related one document, right? So, and I will upload now. If not, I will upload now today. I will upload that. Introduction to JavaScript, I will upload. In that, all these examples will be there. So introduction and how JavaScript is integrated into the page, how to refer JavaScript elements with examples, you will find all of them, right? I will upload today how to deal with them. Right? I hope everyone is clear with this. Everyone clear? Everyone done all this? Is it clear? Right, so understood all the hierarchies and techniques, how to use them. Right, now that is the JavaScript reference type. What is the reference type? What are the reference techniques and all, right? Next important is in JavaScript, we need to understand how to handle output and input. How to handle output and input. That means what are the various techniques used for output and what are the various techniques used for input. Input and output activities we need to understand. That we will see in our next session. Okay, tomorrow we will discuss about that. In tomorrow's session, we will learn about output and input, because up to this you should practice first. I will upload all the examples today. You have to practice that. Then we can go into output and input. Now, once you are aware of that, then we can start examples, working on examples, how to handle them. Okay. So tomorrow we will continue with this, right?